Good morning and welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. So, I have a little grubby kid here. I really don't have a topic today, per se, other than crops are looking okay here. I did see where Zach Johnson, Millennial Farmer, had posted a picture on Instagram, and I could probably pull that up on my phone and show that because it's pathetic. He's got problems. It is dry there, really, really dry. And I also saw that the Welker Farms, let me see if I can find this on my phone. I gotta wear these glasses now. I saw that Welker Farms is actually having similar issues due to drought, and they also had, what do you call it? This is their canola. Now, I don't know what canola looks like, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to hold this up here because I can't pull it up, but that's the Welker Farms' canola. I hope that thing focuses. It almost looks like string beans, but I don't see any leaves. Now, I don't know if the leaves are off because of drought or if they're off because of the hail that they had, or if they're just naturally mature. I don't know. I've never dealt with canola. I've seen it though. And the weird thing is that I saw it when I was a much younger person, back in about 1993, I'd say. 1993. I went to Canada fishing. I went to Canada fishing, and up through Canada, careful. As I went up through Canada, there were these beautiful fields, yellow fields of canola, and that was about the gist of what I saw there. Now, what I saw Zach post, and I'm just terrible about this because I'm not that computer savvy, I guess, I mean, I thought years ago that I was better than I am now, but I just want to see these. Here it is. Okay. So, if I could just get this up here. This looks like a field of onions. And if you're not a Millennial Farmer fan, he does a good job. I mean, he's a good representative of agriculture. And you can see in the background of that photo, way in the back, the corn has a little bit more moisture back there. This is really terrible. This is really terrible. If I was to show you photos of my corn, which I've had corn like what Zach is showing here. I've never had canola, so I can't say I've had canola like what Welkers have had, but I have grown peas years ago. We did for the cows. We grew peas for the cows, and we combined peas and oats. They were a blend that we had put together, and we ground them for the cows. I just remember doing like a small bit of it, like a 200 bushel gravity box, just because it got away from us and it wasn't worth. Oh, thank you, my love. Look at this. Check it out. There's my wife. She's so beautiful. My wife's awesome. So she's so anti-video. She thinks people pick on her. I don't think they pick on her. But, well, sometimes they do. There are a lot of screwed up people in this world. So anyway, I remember my peas and my oats 3 feet tall. And what I saw from Welkers, and they were the same peas. No, they were cow peas, what we called cow peas or Canada peas. Anyways, they're like little bits of white buckshot. That's what they look like. And they're hard as little marbles. They're just hard. They grind really well in a Gale 120 grinder, because that's what we had. And the cows did very well off them. They're a very good source of protein. For the most part, the peas and oats that we grew, we mowed it and wrapped it, baled it into round bales and wrapped it for baleage. And the cows milked really well off of that. Excuse the cough. Anyway, so when I look at these crops that are out there, and I'm just like, wow, I've had similar situations with these crops, and right now my corn is like 14 feet tall, and it's tasseling, whatever you want to call it, and it's looking pretty good. There's a couple of areas where I had some invasive grasses grow, which I don't think the corn is going to be doing too well there. The herbicide failed because of dry weather. We had really dry weather early on, and the herbicide doesn't work unless it's incorporated into the soil. And I went back in with a recovery glyphosate and tried to recover it. And of course, then I was down in North Carolina. So with that recovery herbicide, I don't know whether it was already sprouted in the soil or what the deal was, but it didn't seem to do as good a job. So I'm not looking at the highest yield, the yield that I was expecting in those areas because of this grass. And yeah, it's going to be a tough year. I don't know what it's going to be like in a month. I may look back on it and be like, oh, wow, that fall panicum. And that's what it is. It's a fall panicum, which is weird because it's not fall. Usually that stuff starts to sprout now, but it's not foxtail and it's not barnyard grass. It's fall panicum. Usually that stuff doesn't sprout out until now. It evades the herbicide. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll find out when the combine goes through it, I guess. And that's about all we can do. Looking at it from the roadway and walking out through it, yes, the corn looks really good. It's, like I said, it's just tasseling now. Pollination is going on right now in the majority of it. But that's only a small section. There's only like a 9-acre field that I'm really worried about that has this grass in it. And there's another 12-acre field on out that has some issues, but I think that was just from drought. It stunted the corn growth, and then it just hasn't really. When it did start to rain, it just hasn't really come up through. But looking at Millennial Farmer and Welker's Crops, I really feel bad for those guys and everybody around them, because not only is it just these very public figures on YouTube. Those guys, they'll survive because they've got YouTube income. Yeah, they're pretty good sized channels, and they command a pretty good price, for their content. And as for me, if I have those issues or had those issues, I would be okay as well, because my main crop is not corn. I only grow corn for fun. Of course, I want to make money at it. I do make money at it. I don't want. Excuse me. It's not my main thing. If that fails, I have hay. And only once in 21 years, did I ever have a really bad year for hay, like really dry, droughty, 1.5 ton to the acre year. And I survived that. So I wouldn't worry about me. And plus, it's just, I'm a very diverse person. If I don't have the material, then, we just go on from there. But, yeah. So, that's it. I mean, that's as far as I'm concerned right now. I mowed hay. Me and Teresa mowed hay yesterday. Water slinging up off of the tires. It's wet. It is. We have the opposite problem right now with those guys out there. It is really, 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 really wet. Really wet. So I have this, window of opportunity to make this hay. And that window, I will show you, it started yesterday, even though we had this rain. It did rain a little bit yesterday. But what I'm looking at right here, with the exception of, I believe, Wednesday, there's a 50% chance of storms. We're looking at 83, 88, mostly sunny today, sunny tomorrow, 50% chance of storms. And if I go to the hourly, on that, where is Wednesday? There's Wednesday. It's between 10 and noon. So it's between 10 and noon, and it's like 30 and 40% chance, so they come up with a 50% chance between 10 and noon. So that's fine. I'm willing to take that risk. If I make this hay good, it goes to a different supplier. I supply somebody else now. Getting a little bit fed up with the Mushroom Barns and their low pricing. Can't afford them. If I continue with the Mushroom Barns at the prices that they are now, I will be bankrupt. And that's just a fact. So I've got a new outlet, and yeah, I will obviously continue with the Mushroom Barns. I do have contracts with them, but I cannot exclusively supply the Mushroom Barns. It just isn't going to happen. So I actually was approached by another company, and it's a good one. It's a good deal. You know, they pay me weekly. So if I take loads this week, come Friday, I get paid for those loads. That's it. It's just the way that works. And I'm quite happy with that process, because the mushroom growers are borrowing our money to expand their facilities without helping us out at all. And I'm going to harp on them just a little bit. And if they are watching, we are not blind. This is directly to the mushroom producer, or the mulch producer, the compost producers. I like you guys. I understand your numbers, guys. You know, I do. I like everybody that I deal with down there. I understand that there's somebody above you that is telling you what you can and cannot spend, but I'm telling you that if you continue with at this rate of low hay prices, you are going to actually create your own hay shortage, where you're going to pay more later. Now, I know that there's facilities being built. I know there's facilities being bought. I know there's equipment that is being updated, upgraded and I'm all for that. No problem, because it and it has over the last 21 years always ensured that I would have a market. Okay, so a farmer without a market is a bankrupt farmer. That's just the long and the short of it right there. Now, a market that is expanding and growing is generally a good market. Well, that's generally the consensus. You know, overseas markets generally create higher grain prices, and domestic market and even overseas market with mushrooms, and I know that they do go overseas as well, as that market expands and grows, also does the straw production, which I do and enjoy doing, and it also will expand the hay production, or what needs to go into hay. Now, they've done a shift from hay to straw, which I get it. It produces a much higher quality mushroom. He's got a little crab hammer, a little wooden crab hammer. So if that's what you hear tapping, you just kind of have to deal with it, because that's my life, and I don't mind. So anyway, the hay market has actually constricted a little bit. They're not taking on new hay producers, but they generally are taking the hay that the producers that are already producing, they were paying for that hay. They were continuing with the same rates. And I was always good with that, and over the last 21 years, we have gone from $45 a ton for our hay. Yep, $45. That's what I used to sell for, $45. At $45 a ton, we had 75-cent fuel. Yeah, 75-cent diesel fuel. I think it was 72 cents when I started in 1998. That's when I started hauling. I started hauling in 99. So in the fall of 99, I bought my first truck. So that's, I got to do a farmland assessment form. So anyways, in the fall of 99, I bought my first truck, the Mack truck, the one that I just sold to Haiti. It went to Haiti, and hopefully that guy is doing well there with it. I'm sure he is. I bet he's proud. It's probably the nicest truck in Haiti. So anyway, I made money. There was just no doubt about it. I was making money. The equipment was paid for. The money was rolling in, 45, 75, 85, 95, and kept going up. I demanded premiums with tarping programs. I started that in the early 2000s. You know, hey guys, I'll tarp this much money, I'll tarp this much hay so you have a quality product all the way through till spring, until July when you start taking in new hay. And when you do that, you know, if you do that, I'll tarp it. If you pay me an extra $5 a ton, I'll tarp as much as I can. And I did. I did that. I received that extra $5 a ton. Therefore, I had like cornered this market of quality mulch hay. And then, of course, they became complacent with it. It was like, oh, well, you've always produced this quality product. We're not in the market for premiums anymore, so this is what we're going to give you. And what they did was they kind of lumped us all together, and I pulled away from those mushroom growers and went to other ones that would continue to pay the premium. Sometimes it was $3, sometimes it was $5, but I always produced a quality product. The one year, they said, no more premium, and I said, no more tarping. And they're like, oh, okay, whatever. That's your choice because we don't see a benefit to it. Okay. So come February, March, they're like, why is this material so like decayed on top? Why are you bringing this crap in? You never used to bring this crap in. It's like, well, there's a reason for that. You see, you paid a premium for me to crawl my fat ass up on top of a pile and put a tarp on, and now you won't pay that premium, so why would I waste these tarps? They have a finite number of uses. There's only so many years that you can use these things before they're complete junk. So I mothballed them. Literally put mothballs in these tarps, rolled them up. For a couple of years, they sat in the barn that I didn't even use, but the ones that I needed for good quality hay. And they weren't happy about this, so, you know, whatever. They started docking the hell out of me. So I decided, well, the dockage is worth the time to go up there. But I was still making money. I mean, we were still at 100. At that point, I think we were at $110 or $112 a ton, 115, as high as 115 on these places. And at $115 a ton, even with high fuel prices, we were doing all right. We were doing all right. I was still making money, able to advance and build and buy equipment and continue to my fertilizer programs, which enhanced the hay and made it a better product for everybody. Until about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it was 2018. 2018 was the first year that I actually felt that I did not make any profit at all. As a matter of fact, the tax return showed that I didn't make any profit at all. 2019, I go into no, these are mine, and you can't have those. It's breakfast time. The 2019 is when I did the first straw job, which boosted my income. So the straw job, and then I did the fodder job in 2019, which boosted my income to like record high, and I was quite pleased with it. But I still looked at the hay price, and I'm like, you know, they need to get this up. You know, it's been stale now. It's stagnant. And the one mushroom barn was paying me a premium. So I shifted the majority of my material there, but they docked me back. They just kept docking. It's like, oh my God, we're paying this guy so much money. This stuff better be bone-ass dry. And I swear to God, my probe was showing that it was dry. Their probe was showing that it was wet. And I know mine was right. So, last year, they come to me, they're like, no special pricing. This is what it's going to be. And that's it. Well, okay. I wasn't happy about it, but I was able to get the compost out of there for the corn. And I was like, well, okay, whatever. And that is worth some money right there. So I figured as long as I'm getting this compost out of here, that'll offset a lot of the pricing. So I was getting compost from one. The other one was not docking me at all. So when I would go to the one mushroom grower or composter, I would go, and the price was lower than the place where I was getting the compost from, but there was no dockage. None. My probe and their probe were synonymous, in sync, together, the same. And the other place where I was getting the compost, I'd be at 18, 17, 16% moisture with my moisture probe, and they would be at 28, 27, 26% with their moisture probe, and they were docking the piss out of me. But I needed the compost. So when I started pulling tarps off this spring and taking hay that was bone dry, 4%, 5%, and still getting docked 5, 6% moisture, I was really quite annoyed. So I shifted Lewis's deliveries to the other place, and then I took in with the walking floor. And the material I was taking in with the walking floor was bone dry. There was just nothing in it. I walked it on, I walked it off. I loaded up with compost when I came home. So that was one of the ways I averted the moisture probe there. And they went out with a moisture probe and probed it. I know they did because Jerry told me they did. And he says, "Oh yeah, it was fine. It was fine." So it was fine. I was okay with it, and that was how I did it. So this year, fertilizer prices are up. 40%? 35%, right around there. 30 to 35% increase in fertilizer price. I fertilize my hay. I actually use a blend on my hay with sulfur, and because I want the maximum amount out of it. And we do that on rotations. I don't do the whole entire thing with that. I use liquid and dry. And just because when you take something away, you have to put something back. Now, hay doesn't take a lot away. It takes a lot of potash away, but not a lot. It's, you put back what you take off, and that's what I was doing. Sulfur is another thing that needs to be put on the soil. And, hey, do you have my phone by any chance? Oh. Anyway, my telephone just connected to the computer. It's weird. So you put it in, you take it out. What is going on? Teresa, are you linked to my computer? Oh. You've got the iPad? Yeah. I knew something was up. Anyway, what are you looking at my Facebook, seeing if I got any girlfriends?
No, I'm trying to Google something.
Okay. I don't care. Anyway, where was I at with this thing? So I put this fertilizer down, and we used to do contracting in April. By April 15th, contracts were done. We knew what we were going to be selling. We knew how many tons we were going to be selling. We knew what the price was going to be. Well, this is pure speculation, but in my honest opinion, over the last 4 or 5 years, they have decided that they don't want to do this in April. They don't want to do that until the corn and the soybean planting dates are over, because they can fuck us easier then, and we can't fuck them back. So William went in the other room. That's why I used that word. So they can really screw us easier if we can't put beans and corn in after their contract dates. So they moved it to the middle of June. The middle of June for us, you start getting into, well, we got to make hay in order to put corn and beans in because we can't hardly no-till through it. I mean, we could, but do we really want to? And this coming year, if this does not work out, buddy, they are going to find out that this one lonely farmer is not going to supply them with mulch hay. I will be into the corn and soybean business, just like I was years ago, on thousands of acres instead of hundreds of acres. And I'll just sell a couple of balers, keep the newest one, and I'll buy a new combine or a newer combine. And that's how we're going to go about it, because I cannot go bankrupt because somebody else wants to make millions of dollars, and I'm not going to do it. In some of these conversations that I had, this one mushroom compost producer, mushroom grower, I won't use their name. I like them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm just voicing my opinions here, and I hope they see it, because I can't be the only one that feels this way. After it was all said and done this year, both of them, well, the first one, the one that I actually work for in the straw job, he says, we're going to keep the price the same. I said, you can't keep the price the same. Everything has gone up. Diesel fuel's gone up. Equipment's gone up. Fertilizer's gone up. Everything's gone up. Hauling's gone up. Tires have gone up. Brakes have gone up. Brakes on that trailer cost me $300 more to do the same job than I did 2 years ago. Yeah, right? Right? It's like, what the heck? Everything's just gone through the roof. Those tires, $330, where I used to pay about $240, you know? So they're up. They're up about a third. So everything's up, and they're going to keep the price the same. And they're like, well, you're the only one that really has a problem with it. Well, I know that to be a lie because I talked to other guys. There's a lot of people that have problems with it. And then they came and he dropped the big name to me. He says, well, he's perfectly fine with it. Well, he might be okay with it because he only lives like 4 miles away from their facility. But I don't think he's happy about it. You know, I mean, I've always felt that this mushroom business is on a pendulum, and it swung pretty violently. So this year we're making $115 a ton, and then you come back over here and you're at 95. And then this year you're making $110 a ton, and then you're back here making 100. And it kept doing this, 115, 95, or 100, you know, back and forth. So you'd have 2 good years of this, and then you'd have 2 or 3 years of this. Well, now this pendulum's doing this. It's at the bottom of the stroke. 100, 105, 100, 105. Well, at $105 a ton, and me paying for the shipping and everything else that goes into this thing, I am not making any money. I'm losing money, and I'm not going to be losing money. And that's just my business, but still, anybody that's out there looking to get into the mushroom mulch hay business, now is not a good time at all. Right now is a time to get out of it. So I don't know how much that one producer can produce, because he produces a lot. He produces a lot for a lot of different mushroom growers down there, and several different mushroom growers. 3 big ones that I know of, and 4 big ones that I know of. And he does straw, he does hay, and I just can't imagine he's happy with that hay price. But hey, that's his business if it is. I'm not happy with it, and I have another market, so I'm going to tap into that other market where I will be making, well, let's put it this way. I got a new baler coming, and it ain't because of mushroom growers. I will use that new baler in the straw job next year, and I will also be using that in Colorado, Oklahoma, Texas if I end up there. Really kind of looking forward to going there. I personally think that the people that contract me to do the North Carolina job are going to screw up the North Carolina job. I don't know if any of the farmers from North Carolina watch this, but I am sincerely sorry for the mess that was left there, even though it had nothing to do with me. I feel a little responsible. I feel a lot responsible, actually, because I'm the guy that put it there. My job is to bale it, stack it, and that's it. Count it, mark it, and I'm out of there. Their job is to actually come and get it, clean up the mess, if there's a mess left there. They left that straw there. It is still there, which is kind of sad to see. But there are still something like 12,000 bales that I baled from last year still in these people's fields. And it's going to take walking floors to get it cleaned up. It's an unfortunate thing that had to go that way. It didn't have to go that way. It just did. It just seemed like they ignored the area that I was in. I caught a lot of heat from a lot of different farmers about those piles, and I wasn't happy about it. As a matter of fact, I'm a little bitter about it because here I am, the guy that put it there last year. It's still there, and now I'm putting new piles there in different places. Now I'm putting new piles there, and they're like, well, when are you going to get rid of the old stuff, or when are they going to come and get the old stuff? And all I would do is say, look, this is the guy you need to call. The more you call, the higher up the list it'll be, and maybe they'll get it cleaned up. I don't know. So I kind of have a feeling that the North Carolina straw job, as much as I'd love to go work there, I just got a feeling it's going to dry up. It's going to disappear. Going to be gone, which is sad. Really sad. Matter of fact, I am very sad about that. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong on things before. They may have rainbows shoot out their ass and go down there and get it all cleaned up and everybody's happy again. I can't imagine that they would pay me to do this job and then abandon it all there because let's face it, it's a lot of money. It's not chump change. Just to get my ass down there to do it and then to pay the farmers for their material. You're talking just on my end of it, you're talking a lot of money. Like more money than a lot of people make in a lifetime, literally. But that's again, it's not my business. My business is to do what I did. So anyway, maybe I went off on my own stuff instead of just crop report here. I will be walking out into my cornfields today with my camera. I have 3 more of these GoPro cameras. The problem is I lost my magnetic base and I have to go build a new one. So I have the parts to do that here, and I'm gonna just go ahead and I gotta go to Home Depot. I'll probably buy 2 more magnets. If I buy 2 magnets, then 3 magnets. I got 3 of these cameras. I could really do some good video editing, and I can really throw this thing together and actually increase the quality of my videos. I just really don't have the time to do it. As most of you know, I'm probably the busiest guy on this damn computer. It's crazy how much work that I do and take on, and I'm happy about it, you know. I'm pretty happy about it. I really enjoy what I do, and I just wish that the reward for what I do was a little bit higher and more appreciated in the sales departments, you know. But I do have to make a couple phone calls today. Anyway, I got to talk to the one company that wants me to go to Colorado, and I have to do that like right now. It's almost 8 o'clock. So I'm going to let you guys go. Post this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and or thumbs down, one way or the other. Don't forget to subscribe. It is free. It's free to do so. You can do that all on your lonesome. It's no big deal. It's not going to cost you a thing. And what it does is promotes the channel. And if you like hearing me talk for a half an hour or so, then there you go. Then you get to listen to me slurp my coffee, ramble on about the things that are in my life, because, you know, everybody has to have an outlet in their life. I talk to my wife a lot, but I also talk to you guys. And it's like therapy that I get paid for. Yeah, I do. I actually make a little bit of money on this channel. So the thumbs up and the subscription will actually help that. And yeah, that's about it. That's the long and the short of it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.